So this is a continuation of our 25 stories for 25 years. Lift is celebrating its 25th anniversary, and we want to welcome you today. We've invited a friend of ours that's been with us for quite some time.
A little bit.
We are 25 years old as an organization, and Mary Wilson, how long have we known each other?
I think about 25 years.
I think you're about right.
Since the very beginning.
We moved to Orlando in 1998, and we met this young lady at that time, and
I was younger.
We all were younger.
Oh yeah. So, how did you get to know us, and how did you get involved with Lift?
Well, we were living in Hunters Creek at the time, and we had a van, and our church called us and asked us if I would go help somebody whose van broke down.
Yep.
And I said sure, and I hopped in my van and drove over and found Renette and Jim, and yeah, their van was broken down. So I just jumped out of the car and helped Renette do what needed to be done, and that was getting Jim out of the chair and into the van and breaking down the chair and putting it in the back of the car. And I think it was battery powered back then, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
yeah. So, and it was an old.
It was no small
back
feat.
then. They were heavy, and so we got it up into the van and got them home, and we've been friends ever since.
Yep.
I jumped right in with Renette. I have a little brother with cerebral palsy, Stuart, and he just made me feel totally comfortable with Jim and Renette and helping and what
That's
needed to
really
be
cool.
done. And from then it was a friendship that was meant to be.
Yes.
That really gives us an idea of what happens in the beginning stages of a ministry. You get old vehicles, and they break down all the time.
Yes, we did have an old vehicle that needed a lot of help, so Mary was there to the rescue.
And I hadn't had my van very long. You know who sold that to me? Roger Carter.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
another name from the past.
Another name from the past.
So you're really comfortable with disability. It's been in your family a very long time.
Yeah.
So
I also
Stuart,
have a grandson with cat myopathy. He's 15 now. And he's getting ready to have a rod put in his back. And he's in a chair as well. And he's, got all of the other faculties that, he can go to school and, do the things that need to be done without a lot of parental assistance. Stuart, on the other hand, was different. He was in a chair about the time he was 6, I think.
Huh?
And went outside and played a lot, got to go to a lot of concerts, but there were 8 children, not counting myself, 9 of us, and so there were a lot of people to go do and keep Stuart busy and have a lot of fun and help Mom with Stuart. So
Some of those trips were to Disney.
well, yes.
Yes.
He and Ronnie have some
I
things
rode
in
the rock and
common.
roller coaster several times with Stuart.
Shortly after he ate pizza.
It was not a good idea.
Thankful that Renette was there that day.
That was not one of our finer moments, but we survived.
That's right. That's right.
That's all part of disability ministry, right? So tell us a little bit of what do you do? What have you done for us at Lift?
Oh boy.
A better question is, how have you been involved with us?
That's a good idea.
Some of my favorite things that I've done with Lift over the years is one is just being a part of, their milestones. I've watched them grow and the ministry kind of mold around them with their shaping of the ministry. I always loved that it was for the families and more for the families and the caregivers than it was the actual family member with the disability, because there's so much out there to offer them, and it's harder to find it on the other spectrum. So I always loved that. One of the things that was one of my favorite things I ever did with Lift was when we created the art easels.
Oh, yeah.
And we had the little easels that I don't know, I think it was kind of a dream that I had that brought that all to fruition.
It was, all you.
But it was just almost like a, what's the game that you play with the wood toss?
cornhole?
Cornhole. It was kind of like a cornhole thing, but we had paper on it that you could pull out, and the people could paint with their toes and their feet
Yep.
and experience what it was like to work with a disability when you didn't have the capability of your arms, or vice versa. We had self-standing easels too that you could go up and you could paint with paintbrushes using your mouth or one hand or however. But we had little glove fingers we'd put on the end of the brushes,
I remember
so
that.
it was
That's
stand-
right.
This is pre-COVID. We're talking years ago, but
That was like, man, those were like some of the early days.
That was right in the very first years.
Yeah.
And it was designed for the typical individual to experience what life would be with a disability,
Right.
but they transformed, and now we made them more accessible, so a person with a disability can get up under them and paint themselves, which art is such, that's you, like this, she's very shy about these things, but Mary is quite the artist, and the wall
Incredible.
behind us was her inspiration. This is not real concrete behind us, like she helped me paint that all. So over the years you've painted many things for Lift.
lots of office spaces. I remember the
Yep.
one down off of the 408
Oh, yeah.
by the church there.
On South Street.
Oh, that was hard on our shoulders. It was concrete while we were painting all day long.
I think the church was shocked
Yeah.
whenever they saw the end result of that room. 'Cause
So
they-
you're really like a behind the scenes girl. And well, I will say, like during the give back years, lots of face painting.
right.
Face painting with the and just helping you with props and sets and things like that for Christmas and for summer camp and I think that's been some baking and serving and more than getting involved with the families. I've done a lot more of that.
So other than having the joy of having me in your life, what's a lasting impact that Lift has made on you?
Having Renette in my life.
Yes, that's so true.
I knew I was stepping into
We're
that
going
one.
to lunch after this, and Jim's not invited.
That happens a lot, by the way.
You're busy.
Mary is very creative, and her and I have done a lot for Lift and outside of Lift that might be outside the box. Like we,
Yes.
just giving that opportunity. I think you see
Yeah.
things that it's like, what if we did this? Like what you just want people to experience something beyond what we, the typical individual thinks they should.
Yeah, coloring outside the lines.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. I know you guys have not only has Lyft been impacted by your work, but you and Renette had a business together for a while.
Yeah, we did a lot of
Decorating
interior
houses.
design and consulting and
Painting
pulling it
model-
together.
model homes
We
and-
did some model homes and and whenever there was a creative need, Renette would say, "Hey, I was trying to figure out how to do this," and together we'd figure it out. Jim sometimes would give us some good feedback and speak into it, and we might have to change it up a little bit. But it's
was
been
not only
a lot of fun over the years.
it was not only just for an outlet to your artistic abilities, but it was also financial.
That's true.
We
Those were
needed
back in
money
the poor
certain
days.
times.
Yeah,
Now I pay
Certain
people to
times.
do things because I don't have the energy.
So,
or
so
the strength.
That's very,
Yeah.
very true.
So, Mary, we are so grateful to you and Brian. You guys have been incredible friends for us.
Yes.
We've known you guys for a long time, and it's funny how we've both couples have moved around to different places, and as we have, we've kind of stayed together and connected. And you guys are you're ongoing supporters of Lyft, and we're so grateful for that. If someone's listening today and they're thinking about maybe making a contribution to Lyft, what would be your encouragement to them on why to give to Lyft?
Well, I've just, like you said, it's grown so much over the years, and it's been such a blessed ministry because they're a blessing. I never have to wonder if when I'm giving my money, if it's you guys are being a good steward with that contribution. I've never thought twice about that. And there's a lot to be said for that. I know the money's going to good use, it's going to families, it's going to family members in need, it's going to gathering and getting together, bringing the community together. All those things I think are just so important in everyday life with any nonprofit or any business, but even more so with a nonprofit like Lift is, the funding and the giving and the, not just financially, but in time and love. I mean, it's so apparent to see the joy that the ministry gives to people when they're in your presence.
Yeah, thank
Jim's
you.
just been, he used to sing a lot, and I used to just be so touched by his voice and his singing. He helped bring my husband to the Lord. If my husband were to say one thing about his walk and his faith and his ministry, it was Jim Huckel who woke that up in
That's
him.
awesome.
That was a good experience.
Really good. Mary, thank you for dropping by today and just taking a few minutes with us to talk about.
We have so many things we could talk about.
We could talk forever, and we don't want to put any of our watchers or listeners in that position.
We've already done one of those long videos.
Yeah,
We need to
yeah.
make-
But